This is the Pilot MYU. It's a minimalist pocket-sized fountain pen from the 1970s that is highly sought after because of this: a fully integrated stainless steel nib. However, because of this nib, this pen is also quite expensive, but luckily Pilot offered an alternative. This is the Pilot Volex. And you can see that the styling is virtually identical to the MYU. However, this one is made of a black matte plastic. The top finial is the same as the MYU, as is the clip. It's a very low profile bent metal clip, which is springy and functional, but because it is so low profile, it is a bit challenging to get over thick fabrics and notebooks. The cap dominates the length of the pen. It's long and tapering down to a two-piece cap band that reads Pilot and nothing else. There's a step down to the barrel, and the barrel is short, tapering down to a flat edge. The cap pulls off to reveal a stainless steel nib. Now this one is not integrated like what we saw on the MYU because this is a more economical pen. It reads Pilot, an F for fine, and then we have a date code at the bottom, an H for the plant of Hiroshika, 2 for the month of February, and 75 for the year it was produced. The grip section starts with a metal band that has 2 black stripes, and then the grip section tapers down to another metal band that has a step up to the barrel. In the hand, the pen is very compact, lightweight, and for me with medium-sized hands, it's comfortable to use for short notes, but for longer writing sessions, you are going to want to post it. And luckily, it posts deeply and securely, and in its posted form, it's a full-size fountain pen with a center of gravity inside the crook of my hand. This is an extremely comfortable pen for me to use for both short notes and long writing sessions. And I also have one other Volex to share with you today. This is one from the 1980s. And we can see the styling is a little bit more modern, but also a bit more similar to the MYU in that it is made out of stainless steel. The finials are both flat and are made of a polished chrome piece. The clip is more wide in profile, and it appears that it should be a spring-loaded clip, but it's not. It is a bent metal clip. Also towards the bottom, the clip now has the branding of Pilot. It's no longer on the cap band. And the cap pulls off to reveal, again, a stainless steel nib. This one reads Pilot, F for fine, H for the plant of Hiroshika, 12 for the month of December, and 82 for the year it was produced. The grip section is no longer matte black, but a shiny, glossy plastic, and it is quite soft to the touch. Again, for me with medium-sized hands, it's comfortable to use for short notes, and for longer writing sessions, I prefer to post this pen. However, the cap doesn't post quite as nicely as the MYU or the Volex from the 1970s. This one is a little bit tighter on this stainless steel barrel, and it provides a little bit of a grinding sound. I don't know if that will come across on the camera, but it's not the most satisfying feeling. When it is posted, the pen is significantly heavier and the center of gravity is just about at the crook of my hand, but it's still a very comfortable pen to use for long writing sessions. In terms of size comparisons, here are the Pilot Volexes, a typical Pilot G2 rollerball pen, and your standard Sharpie. Before I disassemble the Pilot Volex, I want to take a moment to compare it with a few other fountain pens. I think naturally I do want to include the Pilot MYU in this comparison. And then I'm going to pull in the Kaweco Brass Sport, which is a very popular pocket-sized fountain pen that's on the market today. And I want to also pull in one more Pilot pocket pen. This is the E95S, which is the modern pocket pen made by Pilot. We can see in its cap form, the Pilots are all very similar in overall size, but the Brass Sport is significantly shorter. The 3 middle pens all have bent metal clips. The E95S has a spring-loaded clip. And the Kaweco does not come with a clip, but you can purchase one separately. It slides over the top and is a bent metal clip. Let's take a look at these pens with their caps removed. All of the caps on the Pilots pull off, and the Kaweco has a cap that unscrews. In the uncapped form, the Pilots are again very comparable in overall length, with the Kaweco Sport being a bit shorter than the rest. Let's take a closer look at these sections and nibs. All nibs are stainless steel, with the exception of the E95S. This one has a 14-karat gold nib. This nib is also inlaid. The two Volexes, I would say, are semi-hooded nibs, and the Kaweco has a fully exposed nib. The MYU, on the other hand, has a nib that is fully integrated into the grip section. The Pilots all have tapering grip sections, whereas the Kaweco has kind of an hourglass-shaped grip section, followed by threads, which are smooth to the touch. Let's take a look at these pens with their caps posted. All caps post deeply and securely, and in the posted form, again, the Pilots are all very comparable in length, with the Kaweco Brass Sport being a bit shorter than the rest. Both of the Volexes disassemble in the same manner, so for the sake of time, I'm only going to focus on one. The cap pulls off, and if we take a look inside, we can see that there are leaf springs, and at the very bottom, there is a plastic cap liner, but that's going to be pretty challenging to remove. So for regular cleaning and maintenance, I don't recommend trying to remove it. I just simply run this under warm water, maybe soak it with a little bit of mild detergent if I see some really stubborn ink stains. For the rest of the pen, the grip section unscrews from the barrel. That's it for the barrel. And then the grip section has this metal collar, which we can unscrew as well. This collar has a band that comes off. And then for the rest of the pen, the nib and feed appear to be friction fit inside this grip section. I haven't been able to remove it. I think if you purchase some special tools, you might be able to disassemble this, but for me, I tend to just take a bulb syringe and force water in and out of this grip section. So for today, this pen is fully disassembled. In order to reassemble, I'm going to start with this connector piece. We can see on one end there's a flat portion. That part keys into the barrel. On this side is where we're going to reattach our ring. We want the step on the ring to be facing the barrel. And then we're going to screw this back into our grip section. And we want it to be quite snug so it doesn't unscrew on itself. Grippy materials might be useful at this point, but I think this should be fine for now. And then we'll reattach our barrel. And lastly, our cap. And at this point, we're ready to ink up. Inking up the Pilot Volex, today I selected Iroshizuku Yamabudo, which is a beautiful magenta ink. Now for this pen, you could consider using the Con 40 converter. I'm not a big fan of this for many reasons, especially because it doesn't have much ink capacity, but I don't prefer using it on this pen, and I'll show you why. I took the cap off and now I'm removing the barrel. If we insert this into the back of the pen, you can see that the ink level is completely not visible. So I'm not going to use that, and instead I'm going to opt for refilling a cartridge. In order to do this, we're going to take the cap off the bottle of ink, grab a syringe, fill it up with some ink, and then bring it into the cartridge. And we want to fill it up just about to this ledge right there. So I'm going to back it off a little bit from there. Perfect. And then I'll put whatever is left back into the bottle. We'll insert this into our grip section, reattach the barrel, cap up the pen, as well as the ink bottle. We're going to let this rest for a few minutes, and then we'll be ready to write. Okay, writing with the Pilot Volex. The cap pulls off, and I am going to post it. And today we're writing with a stainless steel fine nib. And it is a beautifully tuned nib, which shouldn't be a surprise because it comes from Pilot. Pilot is known for extremely good quality control, and this nib is no exception. It's very smooth, has great consistent ink flow, and it's a great note taker. I really love this fine nib. In terms of our ink, today we have one also from Pilot. Their high-end brand of ink is called Iroshizuku. And this one is Yamabudo. For flex, I'll turn the page. No real line variation to be had. This is a fairly stiff steel nib, but it's an excellent note taker. For reverse writing, actually fairly smooth. The feed is having no problem keeping up. I don't really think you get much of a thinner line though, so personally I don't tend to use this for reverse writing. I guess it's maybe a little bit thinner. I do also have the stainless steel version inked up, so I'm going to grab that. Again, the cap pulls off. I'm going to post it. Although I tend to not post this one as often as I post the black one because, again, the leaf springs on the cap seem to kind of grind up against the stainless steel barrel. So this one also is a Pilot Volex. I would say it's a hint more feedback than the black one, but it's very similar. It's also a fine stainless steel. And this one's ink is from Diamine. And it is called Blue Velvet. Very similar writing experience for flex, nothing really to be had. And for reverse writing, a bit more scratchy. Reverse writing tends to have a wide variety of performances, so I don't put too much weight on that. Personally, not the most enjoyable experience for me. One other thing I noticed between these two pens is when I eyedropper a cartridge, the stainless steel model tends to saturate the feed quicker than the black. If you look closely, the feeds appear very similar, but the cutout in the bottom appears different. So I don't know if Pilot made a design update between these two or what the reason is for that, but it's just something that I have noticed. So, what do I think of the Pilot Volex? I really love this pen. I think the design is beautiful, modern, and timeless. I think it's very well balanced and a great note taker for short notes with medium-sized hands, as well as a great long-form writer when you have it posted. Also, the pocket size factor of this pen makes it a very convenient and functional pen to not only keep on your desk, but also take out and about and travel with. And the fact that it accepts a full-size cartridge means that you can have full-blown writing sessions and not worry about running out of ink. Plus, you can easily swap in a new cartridge if you do happen to run out of ink. And in terms of the actual writing experience with this, the nib is an excellently tuned nib. It's very similar to the MYU in terms of its performance, but I actually find the grip section a bit more comfortable than the MYU because it is a softer material, so it gives me a bit more grip than that slippery stainless steel. But I do see areas for improvement with this pen. I think both of these versions don't have the most functional clips in the world. This older one has a very low profile clip, which makes it challenging to get over thick fabrics and notebooks. And this one is more functional in that respect, but I feel like they missed the opportunity of introducing a spring-loaded clip to add a little bit more flexibility. Besides that, as I showed during the inking up portion, I wish that Pilot would have a converter that could fit into this pen where you can still check your ink level. If you want to see your ink level with one of these pens, unfortunately you have to use a cartridge. And then the last thing for improvement with this model, I mentioned it a few times, is on this stainless steel version. I don't know if it's the different materials meshing with each other, but when I post this cap, I just feel it grinding against the stainless steel body. And if I look closely, I am starting to see a few micro scratches from posting that cap. But overall, I'm very impressed with these pens. I love their design. I think they're sleek, timeless, and extremely practical. I love the pocket pen form factor for traveling because you can easily slip these into notebooks or backpacks, and they give you the opportunity to have a full-size writing experience when you post the cap. I think it would be wise for Pilot to consider reintroducing this model, not as a variant of the MYU, but maybe as an economical version of the E95S, one without an inlaid gold nib. I think that coming out for maybe around $50 US would be a great selling product. And that just leaves me to say, thank you for watching.